Necessity is the mother of invention. Love is the pursuit of the whole. Nothing beautiful without struggle. A house that has a library in it has a soul. All is flux, nothing stays still. Writing is the geometry of the soul. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Character is simply habit long continued. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Death is not the worst that can happen to men. Poetry is nearer to vital truth than history. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. Books are immortal sons defying their sires. Man is a being in search of meaning. No human thing is of serious importance. A dog has the soul of a philosopher. All I really know is the extent of my own ignorance. He whom loves touches not walks in darkness. The first and best victory is to conquer self. True friendship can exist only between equals. Love is simply the name for the desire and pursuit of the whole. The object of education is to teach us to love what is beautiful. Poets utter great and wise things which they do not themselves understand. Any man may easily do harm, but not every man can do good to another. The price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Love is the name for our pursuit of wholeness, for our desire to be complete. No wealth can ever make a bad man at peace with himself. False words are not only evil in themselves, but they infect the soul with evil. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound, so they that have the least wit are the greatest babblers. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. Excellence is not a gift, but a skill that takes practice. We do not act rightly because we are excellent. In fact, we achieve excellence by acting rightly. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. Love is born into every human being. It calls back the halves of our original nature together. It tries to make one out of two and heal the wound of human nature. There is in every one of us, even those who seem to be most moderate, a type of desire that is terrible, wild, and lawless. Good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed, by the masses. How can you prove whether at this moment we are sleeping and all our thoughts are a dream, or whether we are awake and talking to one another in the waking state? I would teach children music, physics, and philosophy, but most importantly music. For the patterns in music and all the arts are the keys to learning. Bodily exercise, when compulsory, does no harm to the body, but knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. A hero is born among 100, a wise man is found among 1,000, but an accomplished one might not be found even among 100,000 men. For this feeling of wonder shows that you are a philosopher, since wonder is the only beginning of philosophy. Musical innovation is full of danger to the state, for when modes of music change, the fundamental laws of the state always change with them. If a man can be properly said to love something, it must be clear that he feels affection for it as a whole, and does not love part of it to the exclusion of the rest. How could they see anything but the shadows if they were never allowed to move their heads? Either we shall find what it is we are seeking, or at least we shall free ourselves from the persuasion that we know what we do not know. The difficulty, my friends, is not in avoiding death, but in avoiding unrighteousness, for that runs faster than death. I thought to myself, I am wiser than this man. Neither of us probably knows anything that is really good, but he thinks he has knowledge when he has not, while I, having no knowledge, do not think I have. Knowledge which is acquired under compulsion has no hold on the mind. Therefore do not use compulsion, but let early education be a sort of amusement. You will then be better able to discover the child's natural bent. In practice, people who study philosophy too long become very odd birds, not to say thoroughly vicious, while even those who are the best of them are reduced by philosophy to complete uselessness as members of society. That's what education should be, I said, the art of orientation. Educators should devise the simplest and most effective methods of turning minds around. It shouldn't be the art of implanting sight in the organ, but should proceed on the understanding that the organ already has the capacity, but is improperly aligned and isn't facing the right way. To be afraid of death is only another form of thinking that one is wise when one is not. It is to think that one knows what one does not know. No one knows with regard to death. It is not really the greatest blessing that can happen to man, but people dread it as though they were certain it is the greatest evil. The last days of Socrates. And so, when a person meets the half that is his very own, whatever his orientation, whether it's to young men or not, then something wonderful happens. The two are struck from their senses by love, by a sense of belonging to one another, and by desire, and they don't want to be separated from one another, not even for a moment. The society we have described can never grow into a reality or see the light of day, and there will be no end to the troubles of states, or indeed, my dear Glaucon, of humanity itself, till philosophers become rulers in this world, or till those we now call kings and rulers really and truly become philosophers, and political power and philosophy thus come into the same hands. For to fear death, my friends, is only to think ourselves wise without really being wise, for it is to think that we know what we do not know. For no one knows whether death may not be the greatest good that can happen to man.